Hey guys, welcome back to Bino Sister Malka's channel. If you're new here, take a look around because we're here to answer your questions on parenting, education, and how to do things different. So today's question I'm answering is the difference between positive and negative discipline. Now, reality is parents, teachers, babysitters, educators, whatever form of child carer you are, whenever a child does something, whether it's good, bad, or negative, our reaction really sets the tone. It shows the child their path for the future. Now, of course, we all make mistakes, and please don't start nitpicking and quoting and you think, but I did, but no one is perfect. What I'm talking about is the general overview. Now, positive discipline is, as an educator or as a parent, it's when we reward the positive or our actions are positive. And as we can see, negative discipline is the complete opposite. It's reinforcing the negative. Now, let's take a basic situation that almost every parent has been through. You take a 2-year-old and the 2-year-old is tantruming. They're screaming because you said no to the lollipop. Okay? Now, I've seen many situations, and I'm actually going to go through a few. And I'm going to tell you how it's either positive or negative. The first situation is to completely get down to the child's level, look at them in the eye, and this is the one I prefer, so I'm going to start with that one. Look at the child in the eye and say, "Excuse me, the rule is no lollipops today. Please don't ask again." And then you walk away. So what did I do? I stated what I am, my stance clear. It's a house rule. You as a child, you asked, you have a right to kind of be spoken to like an adult, even though you're 2. And then you walk away. So you're saying you can tantrum. You have a right to be sad, especially at a 2-year-old. They're learning right from wrong. You have a right to be sad. I am not going to enforce your sad behavior. I'm going to leave the room. So you're choosing to be sad, but the positive reinforcements is coming where I'm going to play with the other children. And when you come and act all untantrumy, just for lack of better words, then I will give you my same attention as I gave the other children, in which case I am reinforcing the positive behavior. Another one that I see that I would say kind of it's mid-road in terms of a child is tantruming, and again, they want the lollipop, they're tantruming, and you walk away. Now, while this may seem more positive because you're not reinforcing the negative, I call it mid-road for 2 reasons. Number one, the child doesn't even know what they did wrong. And most children, they see the lollipop, you could tell them it's not healthy, it's junky, they're not comprehending. Even though some kids can actually repeat it back, I know, it's not healthy. There's a difference between saying it and comprehending it. So when you don't state why and once, state it once and walk away, you just walk away. So even though you're not engaging in the negative behavior, you really haven't solved the positive part, or the understanding. So yes, it's midway. Then there's this third part, which is the child asks for a lollipop, they're all calm. And they say, no, you really can't have a lollipop because it's not healthy. Cool, super calm conversation. And then 2 seconds later, but I want the whole tantrum breaks out, and you get down to the level saying, no, you cannot have a lollipop. 1 minute later, stop crying. 2 minutes later, I said you can't have it. 3 minutes later, stop crying or you're going to your room. 4 minutes later, why are you still crying? I already said no. Now, it's natural. I mean, trust me. I've witnessed a 2-hour tantrum from a child. This is a 2-year-old. I have witnessed a 4-hour tantrum from a 10-year-old. I have witnessed tantrums. And some of them scared me. I do, side note, work with special needs children out of school or really children, 10 and younger. And so they can tantrum, at least right when I meet them at first. And I relate. to sit there and listen for 2 hours, 4 hours to a tantrum is one of the most dreadful experiences of my life. And I've been there. I once worked with a 6-year-old 4 hours straight tantruming, at least for the first few sessions. After that, nope. Still tantrum with the parents. Me? Nope. Because what happened? When every time you take that child, because you, and I relate to you, want that child to stop, please stop. No lollipop. I said no. What's happening? Let's actually microscopically break it apart. Child wants a lollipop, which happened in all 3 scenarios. Parent said no. Happened in all 3 scenarios. Child tantrums. Happens in all 3 scenarios. But every time you say no, you say stop crying, you say I'll send you to your room, what is it? Shockingly, negative enforcement. You keep giving that child attention, which stimulates that negative behavior. Because how often did you say stop crying that the child actually stopped crying? Probably very little. When you walk away, the first time I've done it, like I said, I've witnessed tantrums in my life. The first time I did it, the child went on and on, begging for my attention. Begging me. I didn't give it. The second time I came in, because I do work in the homes, the second time I came in, the tantrum lasted, let's say one was 4 hours, 3 hours, 2 hours. Within a week, there was no more tantruming. Because the child realized, and I do tell them after, because I tell them after their tantrum, I say the next time you, and I say this to kids too, I tell them the next time you come to me like a grown-up, I will be more than happy to talk to you. That's it. It's that simple. What is our goal? Is our goal to end that tantrum? Then the best way to do it is to suffer in the moment. And trust me, I don't like loud noises. I don't. And crying just makes me want to cry. And here's what I do. In my heart, I say to myself, it's the long-term goal that I want. It's the long-term goal that I want. This child will be better later because of it. So, when a child wants something, whatever the want is, so I told you with 3-year-olds, I had a child who wanted a yogurt. And the child threw the yogurt and started to tantrum. I mean, I gave you the yogurt. I don't know why you're throwing it. Okay, child tantrum. And I sat there. And then the next time, the child ate the yogurt. I didn't get angry. I didn't get upset. But when you take that patience, and yes, I've done this with nonverbal children as well. I've done it with neurotypical children, mainstream children, you name it. The key is, at the end of the day, the child's going to go to sleep. And the child is going to wake up the next day. What is the child going to remember? Is the child going to look at me and say, oh, you gave me attention when I did ABC. I want that more. Or is the child going to say, whew, when I tantrumed, you didn't care about anyone else in the room. And as long as I tantrum, your eyes were on me. Now, I know this may sound deep and all way out of it. This is subconscious. You said a split second, that's what the child's going to see. The next day, what is the child going to see? And I guarantee that's what makes a difference. So the difference between positive and negative really discipline is in the moment. Are you, and I know we don't realize it because in the beginning, the first time I started to work with children, I was like you guys, oh, stop the crying now. And then I really started to think, what is the behavior I want? Do I want you to come to me and talk? Or do I want you to stop for right now, and then when the same situation happens, cry again? So your reaction will really tell the child how to behave in the future. If you are more, I guess, are more of a positive person and try to encourage the child more during positive situations, you're bringing up the positive. Every second that you engage with a child in a negative situation, then you are actually showing them that it's the negative way to respond. Now, just a few tips on negative kind of reinforcement here. Negative reinforcement, like I mentioned, could be when the child is in the tantrum saying, stop it, stop it, stop it. That's one. Because again, you're engaging them in the negative situation. Another form of negative situation could be just giving in. And we all know that, like, we just want to give in. We want it to be over. So you give the child what they want. Again, negative reinforcement. And the last one is actually not so easy. When you have older children and, they're tantruming, whatever the case is, they understand. So you could just really put an end to it by looking at them in the eye and saying, listen, the situation is like this right now. You have a choice. You could either act A and explain to them how you want them to act, or we're done. Constant communication. You said your communication, and now you as a parent, caregiver, teacher, remove yourself or ignore the child. Now I have a few more, there's a lot more on negative discipline and positive discipline. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel because I have a few more questions coming in. This is a pretty heavy duty topic. And don't forget to like it, subscribe, share with parents because, it takes a village to raise a child.